Robert de Sable was the 11th headmaster of the Knights Templar from 1191 to 1192 and Lord of Cyprus from 1191 to 1192. Personal life. No exact record of his birth date exists, but it is believed he was relatively old at the time of his death. He was born to a respected military family in Anjou and was a leading Angevin vassal of the king. His lordship was based in a cluster of lands in the River Sarthe Valley, which he inherited in the 1160s. He married Clemence de Mayenne. He was succeeded in Anjou by his daughter Marguerite of Sablé, who by marriage passed the entire estate to William des Roches, also a knight of the Third Crusade. Robert died in the Holy Land on the 23rd of September 1193. Military record. Angevin Civil War. In 1173, Sablé supported Henry the Young King, heir apparent to the throne of the Kingdom of England and Duchy of Normandy, in a revolt against his father Henry II during the revolt of 1173 to 1174. The uprising was crushed, but Robert must have remained in favor with the Angevin kings, as Richard would later be instrumental in his appointment as Grand Master. He contributed money to French monastic houses in 1190 as a way of making amends. Third Crusade. Despite only having a short tenure, Sablé's reign was filled with successful campaigning. Before his election as Grand Master, he led King Richard I's navy from England and Normandy to the Mediterranean, getting involved in the Reconquista in passage. The combined might of Richard the Lionheart's strategy, seasoned troops, and the elite Templar Knights scored many victories. During the Third Crusade, they laid siege to the city of Acre, which soon fell. Throughout August 1191, they also recaptured many fortresses and cities along the Levantine coast in the eastern Mediterranean, which had been lost previously. The new coalition's finest hour was the Battle of Arsuf, on the 7th of September 1191. Saladin's Muslim forces appear to have become far stronger than the Christians, and a decisive victory was desperately needed. Pooling all of the Crusaders' strength, the Knights Hospitaller joined the ranks, plus many knights from Sablé's native Anjou, Maine, and Brittany. They met Saladin's troops on the dry plains and soon broke his ranks. Those who stayed to fight were killed, and the remaining Islamic troops were forced to retreat. Acquisition of Cyprus. At the end of 1191, Richard the Lionheart agreed to sell Cyprus to the Templars for 25,000 pieces of silver. Richard had plundered the island from the Byzantine forces of the Tarentine commoners of Cyprus some months earlier and had no real use for it. The Hospitallers would later establish solid bases on the islands of Rhodes and Malta, but Sablé failed to do the same with the island of Cyprus. He was lord for 2 years, until he gave the island to Guy de Lusignan, king of Jerusalem, as he was without a kingdom. Sablé did manage to establish a chieftain house of the order in Saint-Jean d'Acre, which remained for almost a century. Delayed election. Sablé was lucky to have been headmaster at all, as at the time of Gerard de Ridefort's death, he was not even a member of the Templar Order. However, the senior knights had become increasingly opposed to masters fighting on the front line, and the capture and beheading of Grand Master Gerard de Ridefort became the final straw. They delayed elections for over a year so that the rules regarding active service of headmasters could be reviewed. During this hiatus, Sablé joined the order, just in time to be considered for election. When he was made Grand Master, he had been a Templar Knight for less than a year. In popular culture, in the 2007 video game Assassin's Creed, Robert de Sablé is presented as the secondary antagonist. However, the game dates Robert's assassination in 1191, at the Battle of Arsuf, whereas in actuality he died in 1193. In addition to presenting him as being far younger than his historical counterpart,